Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another legal breaking reporting and video analysis update. Let's get into our morning briefing this morning for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025 by the Washington Post. Before we begin, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy.
President Donald Trump paused immigration applications from 19 countries. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Wednesday, December 3rd. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. The Department of Homeland Security made this announcement yesterday evening. It said that immigration applications would be put on hold for everyone who was born or holds citizenship in 19 countries. The affected nations include Afghanistan, Myanmar, Haiti, Iran, and Venezuela. The list was pulled from a presidential proclamation in June. That called for partial or total entry restrictions for all nationals from the same 19 countries. Yesterday's announcement cited the shooting last week of 2 National Guard members in D.C. The suspect in that shooting was identified as an Afghan national. One of the 19 nations on the list is Somalia. In a cabinet meeting yesterday, Trump delivered a rant against Somali migrants. He used dehumanizing language, calling them garbage.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks. And we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too.
Trump's move to pause immigration applications will plunge thousands of cases into uncertainty. An immigration lawyer told the Post it is highly likely to be challenged in court. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth further distanced himself from a lethal attack on a boat in the Caribbean. That's number 2. On Friday, the Post reported that Hegseth gave a spoken order in September to kill the entire crew of a vessel which the administration alleges was ferrying drugs. An initial strike killed 9 of 11 people on board. A second strike killed the 2 survivors of the first attack. Yesterday, Hegseth offered his most extensive public accounting yet of his involvement in the attack. He said he only learned of the survivors hours after the strike.
So you didn't see any survivors, to be clear, after that first strike?
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded in fire and smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war. This is what you in the press don't understand.
Hegseth has deflected responsibility for the killing of the 2 survivors, pointing instead to the senior military officer in charge of the operation. Lawmakers and law of war experts have questioned whether the episode constitutes a war crime, and if so, who bears responsibility. Number 3. Republican Matt Van Epps won a closer-than-expected special election for a U.S. House seat in Tennessee. This contest served as the latest test of voters' attitudes about Trump's agenda less than a year before the midterm elections. The results were mixed for Republicans. Epps' victory was a much-needed win after sweeping losses for Trump's party in November's elections. It preserved Republicans' 219 to 213 advantage in the House. But his final margin of victory is on pace to be much smaller than the 22-point edge Trump had in the same district last year. That underlines the vulnerability of Republicans to Democratic attacks over the cost of living. And it raised renewed questions about the extent to which Trump supporters will show up when Trump himself is not on the ballot. Number 4. Federal advisors are planning the biggest change yet to the childhood vaccine schedule. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. purged a federal vaccine panel earlier this year. Then he appointed new members who have been critical of public health vaccination practices. The newly appointed chair has been speaking to the Post. He said these new federal advisors plan to vote and end the practice of universal hepatitis B vaccination at birth. That's big news. Birth doses of that vaccine have been credited for a 99% drop in hepatitis B infections among children and teens since the recommendation was made in 1991. And the changes don't end there. The advisors also plan to examine whether shots on the childhood vaccination schedule are causing a rise in allergies and autoimmune disorders. The health secretary has long linked the rise of chronic disease, autism, and food allergies to what he calls the exploding vaccine schedule. But those claims have been refuted by medical associations and extensive research. The panel will meet tomorrow and Friday. Low temperature records from the 1800s will be broken this week. That's our fifth story. In the coming days, around 50 locations from eastern Nebraska to Maine are forecast to see record lows for this time of year. If you're mad about this, here's why it's happening. A sudden warming event disturbed the polar vortex miles above the North Pole. That sent freezing air south, which is unusual for autumn. Santa must be getting an early start up there. Some of the country's coldest conditions are forecast to occur north of Minneapolis tomorrow morning, with temperatures nearing -20. And parts of the country are likely to see even more snow by the end of the week. If you need to get away, I wistfully looked up the temperature in Miami today. It will reach the high 70s. If that's where you live, I hope you appreciate it. New research shows that Americans are getting lonelier. That's number 6. A report released today by AARP found that an increasing number of middle-aged and older adults are lonely, especially those in their 40s and 50s. Among the loneliest are adults who are 45 to 49 years old, those who never married, are not working, or whose household income fell below $25,000 a year also reported high levels of loneliness. The report underscored that your 40s and 50s can be a particularly unhappy time. It's a crucial transition period in which pressure from caregiving, careers, and changing social networks can heighten feelings of isolation. But there's a lot you can do to ward off loneliness, no matter your age. You can find tips in our newsletter today. Find that in our show notes. And at number 7.
Since the beginning of time, man has yearned to destroy the sun. I will do the next best thing. Block it out.
No, this isn't The Simpsons. Some companies actually want to block the sun to cool the planet. A startup in California called Make Sunsets has big plans for the future of Earth. The company wants to release balloons loaded with sulfur dioxide, which it hopes will burst in the stratosphere. Sulfur dioxide is normally spewed by volcanic eruptions, and it can block sunlight. This is not the only private company working on controversial technologies known as solar geoengineering, or the only method. These startups say they can save the world from climate change at a fraction of the cost of other strategies, and much faster than governments or universities could. But critics say profit-seeking companies have no business developing technologies that could affect everyone on Earth, and which may have unintended consequences for global weather patterns and could kill people by raising air pollution and cancer rates. Certain states have banned the practice of solar geoengineering, and the EPA has said it's investigating the company Make Sunsets. But overall, private geoengineering companies have few rules to follow.
Good God.
All right, you're all caught up. Do us a favor this week, leave us a lovely rating or review wherever you're listening. It helps other people find the show, and it gives us a warm, Christmassy feeling. Thanks for listening. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy. That is going to do it for this legal breaking reporting and video analysis update for the morning of Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. I will see you back here in about an hour to, for you guys to listen to our second reporting. For now, ladies and gentlemen, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and enjoy for more legal breaking news that you need to know about. More to come soon.